Welcome back to Wave 3 Listens. He is the president of the Kentucky Association of Marriage and Family Therapy. He is the best in the business. We have him now available to you absolutely free at 571-5263. And we have another caller. Ready to go to work, Doctor?
Let's do it.
Dr. Eli in the house. Christina is with us via phone. Christina, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you doing?
We are well, and you?
Fine, okay, thank you. I have a question for Mr. Eli. I have a son, he's 7 years old, and his ADHD, he takes medicine and stuff. And what it is that his behavior at school is horrible. He can't get along with the teacher, he can't get along with the students. What can I do to stop all this?
So your son has ADHD, which we've talked about in past segments of the show, but very quickly, that's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So it sounds like, many times as he's diagnosed, 7, is your son a first grader or second grader?
He's a second grader.
He's a second grader, so, usually diagnosed where there's a combination of some type of behavioral interruption in class with also some kind of learning challenges. So he has some hyperactive parts, it sounds like. So the first thing you put, you need to be properly assessed. And while there's not one test for ADHD, it's kind of a battery of kind of test on the child as far as kind of IQ and focus test, in addition to parents' interviews and school interviews. So if you've already done that and he's already tried the medication many times, even though we have some great ADHD medications, including Adderall, Vyvanse, Ritalin, what might work for one doesn't work for the other. So you want to make sure, just because he's been dosed, a lot of times it's an experimental type of going up and down in your dosage. So you want to make sure he has the right medication, and that could involve going back. In this case, many people go to their pediatrician, some people go to a child psychiatrist. So you want to make sure he has the right medication first of all. And then you want to work, hopefully, is he in public school?
Yes, he is.
Okay. If you have ADHD, most public schools will give you what you call an IEP, an individualized education program. And what that's going to do is that's going to make accommodations because of the ADHD in your child's learning style. So it could be that he sits in the front of the classroom. It could be that he has extra time on tests, depending on what it is. So many IEPs will accommodate these ADHD symptoms. So the other thing you can do, again, you could work with a marriage and family therapist, as I was saying in the last segment, which is going to be a link between you and helping you understand the disorder, how it functions at school and at home, and also a link between you at the school. And sometimes the school, if they're viewing your child just as a disruptive troublemaker and they don't fully understand kind of how his hyperactivity impacts the learning environment, that can create a wedge between the teacher and the student. So I think it's a combination of finding the right medication and also kind of linking up with the school and making sure that the school is doing what they can to make accommodations for your son.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Doctor.
you.
Thank you, Christina. Interesting. So as a marriage and family therapist, do you mind intervening and calling the school? Do you mind helping with that, or would it require a letter? Or what exactly would you do in this case?
Right. Well, MFTs are going to work systemically, so they're always interfacing with people, what we call an indirect system. The direct system is everybody in the therapy room, but many times people outside of the therapy room impact the therapy. And many times when you're working with kids or teenagers, that is the school environment. So yeah, MFTs are going to talk to schools, advocate for schools, many times go to the schools within meetings. We actually have now around the country more MFTs involved in school settings. We think mostly in schools there's school psychologists, there's school social workers. There's also marriage and family therapists working in school settings.
All right, interesting, good information. Jamie is with us now. Jamie, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi. My issue is this. I have been married for over 20 years, and my husband and I get along great, but we haven't had sex in years. And I always hear, if you're not having sex, there's a problem. But I don't think there's a problem, but maybe I'm being naive.
Mm-hmm. Well, very good question, and again, brave to call in. I appreciate that. Again, couples, their issues when they come in to see a marriage and family therapist is usually revolving around 3 things in this order: money, sex, or kind of household labor, chores. So sex, or in this case the lack of it, is kind of a common thread running through most couples. And you seem to be in one of these, from what you briefly said, one of these marriages where there's not one big event that caused this lack of physical intimacy. And many long-term couples, 15, 20 years or up, kind of fall in the same group, and that they've just stopped working on it. Maybe they've been great co-parents, maybe they've been great at their career, but they've stopped kind of ignoring the couple. And avoidance sometimes, especially with sex, is one of those things that creates great anxiety. So there's no big problem, at least initially. Mechanically, everything worked fine in the past. In fact, many couples have a good sexual history to draw from, but they've gotten out of practice. And kind of initiating the dialogue, if you're a conflict avoidant or your spouse is, sometimes is very difficult. So what you want to do is kind of break the ice and be able to talk about it with your husband in non-blaming language. So you want to be able to talk about, missing intimacy, because sometimes partners, they get so busy, or they don't really think their other partner misses it. Or, in 20 years there can be a lot of physical changes to your own body, to your partner's body, so you doubt your own level of attractiveness or that of your partner. So the best way to do it is kind of break the ice, start the dialogue, and when you're getting back to that, you just want to focus on first kind of emotional connection. Because in long-term relationships, if you feel emotionally close and supported, if you can show your vulnerability to your partner, i.e. come to them on your bad day, give them your worst, and you don't think they're going to use that against you, that kind of leads to physical connection. You feel emotionally connected, you feel physical connection. Another time, people that are rushing back into sex, they have an issue with, they focus on performance too much, on actual intercourse. But what you can do is just focus on physical affection. It starts with the hugs, the kisses, the squeezing of the hand, priming the pump for this intimacy. And last but not least, again, this is what marriage and family therapists do. With every couple, they're going to find, again, a non-stigmatizing, gentle frame where no one's the bad guy to work with your partner. So all you need to do is know that your partner wants to work on it, and then you can either do it yourself, or you can get the help from a marriage and family therapist to, again, bring that intimacy back. Very good call. Thank you.
Jamie, thank you very much for the call, and I'm glad you're here. I could not have handled that call. I've got to tell you, you may laugh at me, and I know it sounds probably very simple, but I just a little hint for guys. If you help out around the house, tell me this isn't true. Help out around the house with household chores and everything. All of a sudden, my wife feels closer to me.
That's right.
I think because she sees you're making an effort to help her.
Right.
And so if I can get out and do something for her, maybe it's not even a household chore. Maybe it's just something that she would like done that she's asked me. If I do that, all of a sudden.
It's like they say, doing the dishes is the best form of foreplay for many women.
It's true.
It's true. It's true in the sense that most people, especially in relationships that are long-lasting, you want to know that your partner cares. And relationships are considered equitable if you think your partner's working as hard as you are. So if you both work jobs and you come home and stereotypically you're the male, you put your feet up, and your partner's doing all the work, that doesn't really lead to engendering warm feelings or wanting to be intimate. So yeah, help out, and that primes the pump.
All right, we're going to hold on to Dr. Eli for one more segment. If you have a question, 571-5263. We welcome your calls. Coming up right here, your calls on Wave 3 Listens.